I'm so jealous. I wanna do that now. Jelly.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest super entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes. Let's talk it all out.
Whoa, you caught me off guard there. My name's Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, the Defenders team up to save New York City.
New York City?
Exactly, you get it. You can see Marvel movies in theaters next week, Mike.
Yeah.
There's a new Star Wars rumor appearing on the internets.
Ooh.
And more.
To be fair, I think now we're to a point where there's always a Marvel movie in theaters. So I hope you inform me a little bit more, because I think there's always something out there.
This is going to be a great experience, and I have it to talk with later, and I'm really looking forward to it. So we'll definitely talk about that later. But before this, we were talking a little bit about what's going on this weekend, and I bought some Hue light bulbs, Mike.
Yeah, this is really cool. I just want to preface this real quick. I thought these bulbs were really, really cool until I just watched that video that you sent me, and now they're even cooler.
Oh yeah, so Hue light bulbs are I think they're made by Samsung or Philips. They come with you get the starter pack. It comes with 3 bulbs, and they're full LED colored and including white light, and you can sync them with like your phone. So if I leave my house, my lights turn off if they were on. And when I come home, they turn on. You can set them to like turn on at sunset, turn off at sunrise, kind of things. You can do all sorts of timings with them. But what I was doing was syncing these. There's an app where you can sync your movie watching experience with the lights. So the lights will. Someone has pre-programmed what color and intensity the light should be at different points in movies.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
And I thought I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which comes out this week on DVD, Blu-ray. And I was really wanting to do that because I think that opening Groot sequence would be fantastic to watch with that. But I ended up watching Inside Out, which, if anyone has seen, is a super colorful movie. The emotions are based on colors, and it was just fantastic to play with and do that last night. And are you a big Siri I know a lot of people like to talk to Alexa or Google or Cortana or Siri. Do you do that a lot? Do you talk to your...
My homestead is far from smart at the moment, so I am doing no sort of robotic communications.
Well, I didn't know if hey Siri, what time is it? I hope she doesn't go off yet. It just popped on my phone over here.
the only thing Siri ever does for me is set reminders, but that's very helpful because I need reminders in my life.
So I'm really excited. I can tell her to turn off a light in a certain room or something. Like, you can group the lights by rooms or just name them and do it that way. I had one syncing with music, so it was like bumping, like the lights would sync to the music, so they flicker with music or change. And another one is you can create like a thunderstorm scene in your house. Like it'll cool. Flash to like the thunder and stuff like that. It was really cool. There's a lot to do with it. I'm still learning and playing with it, but as we work towards a house, I was like, I want to get into the connected home kind of thing. Like, I see a lot of houses I go into for my job have some of it, but not all of it. And just kind of seeing the way different people use it has been very interesting. And I'm really, really excited to see that.
Super, super jealous. I got to get me some of them bulbs.
You do. You got to get you the bulbs. And the starter kits were cheap. They were on sale at Home Depot for like half off. It was really ridiculous. Couldn't pass it up. But, Mike... You had a rougher weekend.
Less exciting, for sure. This is going to be one of the few PSAs I think I ever deliver to the audience of this podcast. And the public service announcement is, do not wait 3 years to go back to the dentist. Make sure you're going to your regular dentist cleanings twice every year. I understand there are some scenarios out there like, with lapsing health insurance and stuff like that, but do not let laziness strike like it had struck me. And I thought I was some sort of superhuman that didn't need to go to the dentist, and I had a rude awakening yesterday when I went on Saturday that when you wait that long, you need to get deep cleanings that cost a lot more money. and are not covered entirely by most even really good dental insurances. So I paid a crap ton of money yesterday for laziness, and so I wanted to spread the word out there that if you haven't been to the dentist in 6 months, make an appointment and get your butt there, because your mouth will thank you.
Well, I mean, we now know Mike's only weakness is the gum disease known as gingivitis.
my only weakness is my mouth, Chris.
It is. It's a lot sad. So it definitely sounds like that. Well, how about this? Let's do a sandwich here. I've got more good news of things I got this weekend.
Okay.
My Marvel Collector Core, which is the Funko subscription box, came in. And normally you're guaranteed at least one pop vinyl in a box and a t-shirt. So I'm great. So I got my t-shirt and a pop. I open this up. It's a t-shirt and 2 pop vinyls.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's awesome. And the theme of this one is the first appearance of Avengers. So the t-shirt I got is the Incredible Hulk, like the first cover of it, but like they're all popified, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the pops is the first Iron Man, his silver suit, like the old silver suit, like we saw in the movie.
Cool.
And the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the first appearance of the Vision. So like the old robot Vision with like the black mascara and the bright yellows and reds and greens.
Oh, cool.
So I was really happy to get those pops, Mike. It was something special. So if you guys are ever worried about the collector core, like I think I pay $30 a month. After shipping, it's like $30 every 2 months, and the boxes are worth it. My wife gets the Disney one; she loves it. So,
well, thank you for that good news sandwich. Yeah. Make sure you floss and brush after you eat it.
Yeah, exactly, as Mike would say. But that's not all we did this weekend. It's not all been good things and bad things. We watched something else that might be, as we said, right down the middle. So we're gonna jump into the news and tell you, we did the Defenders Spoilercast this weekend. So
yeah, we did.
Defenders came out Friday, I believe 3 a.m. Eastern, so midnight your time, and it's been out. It's 8 episodes. You can watch it on Netflix. We did a Spoilercast, and we might share with you our initial thoughts here.
Yeah, so make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast, and you'll get the Spoilercast popping up in your feed. So that way you can safely avoid spoilers, because we're not going to spoil anything here for you right now.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want to do that for you. So check your Spoilercast out. If you've seen it, you probably don't listen to it and then watch it. That's silly. That's just silly. But The Defenders is a great entry, a first time, I think, 4 TV shows have come together to do something this long. We talked about Legends of Tomorrow and the other kind of stuff on CW, but like
they had like an invasion crossover. I think
those are super weak, and they're still like their own shows, but like with other characters in them. This is these 4 shows, 5 seasons worth of shows coming together into an 8 episode like mini thing, and we got to say, if you weren't a fan of action and Iron Fist, you're gonna love the action here. And it's definitely good to feel Jessica Jones and Luke Cage back on screen. Maybe not together, but like it's good to bring them back on screen, because we haven't seen them in so long.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the best ways to describe the show for me is just kind of down the middle. There's good parts outweighed kind of by not so great parts. If you had to rank it in the echelon of the shows, I would kind of put it in the middle. Obviously above Iron Fist and that back half of Luke Cage for sure. But Daredevil season 1 and Jessica Jones season 1, they're still kind of the cream of the crop for me.
Yeah, so it's definitely down the middle, and it's a new experiment, so I expect a lot more to come out of this, and it's definitely setting up, the next phase, I guess, of Netflix shows by the end of it. So it's definitely something you don't want to miss. I don't think you should miss it by any means. So make sure you're caught up on all your other shows. Sit down and watch these 8, and you're gonna love it. The binge watching, it didn't feel like 8 hours. It went by much quicker. Yeah,
8 hours or 8 episodes is just really perfect for about 2 binge watching sessions. I suppose maybe if you were to start on like a Saturday morning, you could watch them all in a row. But for these 8 episode shows, get about half in on Friday night, half in on Saturday afternoon, and it's a really good 2 watching sessions. Really good.
Yeah, definitely good. So, listen to our Spoilercast for our full reviews, but definitely know that we recommend it if you're into the Netflix shows. So, definitely didn't push us out from there. But at the end of it, we got our first, I guess, official teaser maybe, or trailer for The Punisher. coming out hopefully later this year. And it's a minute long of what it looks to be, the Punisher, Frank Castle, hammering away at some concrete to make this skull face. But I don't know why he's doing that. Was he trying to break the concrete? Is there something in there or what? But definitely looks like it's going to be an interesting ride on the Punisher. I didn't give a whole lot away. I don't know what to say about this.
I would say maybe he's breaking up the concrete to maybe get to some hidden weapons, but John Wick kind of did that already, so I don't think he's going to be able to pull that off. There was some kind of intercut moments where you get to see brief glimpses of the show. Frank Castle killing some fools. The only thing I could really glean from this is I think Frank Castle might be leaving New York, or at least New York City in this season, which might fit pretty well with maybe this next phase of Netflix shows. It's been very focused in New York, but Frank Castle, he's probably maybe going to go on a little bit of a road trip of revenge, or maybe we're going to get to see the past a little bit, because I think maybe there was a scene where I saw him in his kind of uniformed army get up, so maybe we'll get to see him in the past of how he kind of became who he was in the service. So I don't know, just speculation right now, but we don't even know when the show's really coming out yet.
Yeah, we're still thinking November, but I don't know. I really don't know what else is kind of going on. I'm really excited to see the history of the Punisher, dealing with his army group that kind of turned on him. I think that we learned about in Daredevil. And he's hopefully he uses that minigun, man. I really want to use that minigun.
That's all we want, man.
Yeah, so Punisher definitely coming out. Hopefully, knock on wood, later this year. So we'll keep you guys posted as more comes out about that. But if they're giving us a teaser, I'm feeling sooner than later. I saw some images this week for Jessica Jones season 2, which is filming, which had Kilgrave back on set, Mike.
Yeah, this is kind of, I don't really know what to take from this. So this could be very easily explained as a flashback. That would be the easiest way to kind of tie in his appearance on set, that, we're just filming a scene in the past, we're going to show how Jessica really was tormented by Kilgrave, or I don't know, maybe she gets dosed with some sort of crazy hallucinogenic thing and she's seeing Kilgrave. But I kind of hope he doesn't come back, just because he was very definitively killed in that second season, or that first season at the very end. And we really praised that when we watched Jessica Jones in our Spoilercast. You can go listen to it. We were really, I think we were really happy that they kind of went there. So I kind of hope they don't undo it all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they will. So what I saw from the photographs, from the set photos, is that she's walking down the road, he's whispering in her ear, talking in her ear. So I think it's like a remnant, maybe everything he did is still lingering with her. Yeah. And the best way to show that is by having him actually say things.
Or maybe some residual pheromones, because we did learn his power wasn't just magic, it was from pheromones that he released. So possibly maybe someone bottled those up and are using a little bit of it. I don't know, but yeah, it's hard for me to imagine him coming back in full force as a villain.
I don't think he'll be alive. I think we'll just see a lot of ghost versions of him, I guess, haunting her, I guess, would be the best way to put it. And
plus David Tennant, he's kind of busy being a Scrooge McDuck right now on DuckTales. So
yeah, I'm sure that's keeping him very busy. Right? He's just calling that in over the phone, hey, can you say this line in your Scrooge McDuck voice over the phone? He does it, and that's it. Now, I think I'm glad to see him kind of. He's not in the capacity before, but you just don't get over that kind of stuff, the kind of stuff she went through, which I think is awesome. And that they're gonna hey, she's not fully healed yet. Let's explore this a little bit more. So I'm definitely interested to see kind of what goes on with that. So we got that coming. So we got Jessica Jones season 2 coming down the road. Don't know when. Hopefully next year. I think it's the first one that started filming. So after Punisher, it'll be the first one that launches. Maybe spring. Maybe after watching Defenders, I want her back. I want to see more of Jessica Jones. Adventures.
Yeah. For sure, she lights up the screen in her own unique way.
That's right, with blue and purple. So speaking of Marvel TV shows, Marvel Spider-Man, the new animated show, has launched its first episode on YouTube. Yeah, you can go watch now. We have the link in the show notes. full 22-minute episode called Horizon High Part 1, which is the school apparently Peter Parker goes to. So I have not watched it. I just found it this morning. So
I've noticed Disney XD has kind of been doing that, and a lot of networks do that. Season premieres of brand new shows, usually the first episode's free. Just kind of like your local drug dealer. So I kind of clicked through it real quick to get a look at it. It looks very unique type of show. So I don't know exactly how I feel about it yet. I think I'd have to sit in it and watch it for that 20 minutes to see how I feel, but it's good that at least a new direction is being tried, because the unfortunate side effect of being Spider-Man is you're going to be rebooted 1,000 different ways, no matter what platform you're on, whether it's video games, TV, or movies. So there's always got to be some sort of unique, fresh angle at it. So even if this is the best Spider-Man show ever made, you're probably only going to get like 3 or 4 seasons of it. So if you don't like it, just wait a couple years and you'll probably get another chance.
Yeah, it's got some interesting art style, and that's just kind of what I was hoping you'd talk about. Like, it looks like the backgrounds are like hype, like not quite photorealistic, but not quite cartoony, while the characters are very like cartoon anime kind of style. Like the eyes look anime, like cheaply drawn people, but like very high def backgrounds. Like I don't know how you describe that, but like I don't know if you see it like in the classrooms and stuff like that. Like everything, like there's a lot of, it's not like, maybe not detail, but it looks real in the background.
Yeah,
but the front's kind of like stands out from it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a watch, but I do know from personal experience, because I've had a chance to talk with some of the artists that do the Guardians of the Galaxy show for Disney XD, and they use computer rendered backgrounds. Obviously you can make computer rendered look like an animated drawn background, but that's what they do over there. So they can kind of move and manipulate those backgrounds however they want. So maybe they're kind of taking a similar approach, but I guess as long as the action's cool and exciting, and the Spider-Man has some funny quips, that's really what you're looking forward to with a Spider-Man animated show. Because when you're in the realm of animation, you don't have to worry about like special effects, budget necessarily. If you want Spider-Man doing a flip and swinging around a city and doing these crazy camera angles, you don't have to render that kind of stuff in a computer. You can just kind of draw it. So hopefully it's pretty cool. I follow one of the storyboard artists for this show on Instagram, and he puts up some really good art. I think his name might be like Grassfoo on Instagram. Okay. But he said he was really excited for it to premiere on Saturday. So I think the people are making it with love for sure, but we'll just have to see how it pans out.
Yeah, just the comments online seem to be mostly positive for it, so that's a plus. But Mike's of a thing, wait and you'll get a different one. I'm more of like, you have a bunch in the backgrounds, go back and you can find one you like.
Yeah, that's true. You can always go back to that the one in the 90s with that badass guitar intro.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so there's always Spider-Man. Or you can even go back to like the 60s one that people make memes out of. So you got all sorts of Spider-Man to choose from.
Yeah, go invent some new memes, people.
That's right. What we don't have a lot of choices to watch are these Inhuman shows, because we're in our first one in, I guess, less than 2 weeks now. And we got a new trailer on Twitter regarding meeting the royal family. So this is kind of a character intro one. But what everyone is talking about really is they have finished or changed the hair on Medusa, which has always been a point of contention between everybody. And Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the trailer goes by pretty quickly, but yeah, Medusa's hair does seem to be a bit less domey, cheap wiggy. So I hope that pans out well. Each Inhumans trailer we get progressively gets me a little bit less disappointed. So I guess it gets me closer to the middle ground of excited, I guess. We'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. Obviously, Scott Buck, you can't trust that guy as far as you can throw him, I guess, if that's what the euphemism is. But I don't know. I'm still really nervous about this show. I know you're going to go see it in IMAX for sure. I mean, if I don't go see this in IMAX, Chris, how long do I have to wait to watch the first episode on regular TV?
28 days. So a whole month away, pretty much.
So they're probably going to get that IMAX pricing out of me, so I'll probably have to go see it so we can talk about it on the show. But
I would love to do that. I would very much love to do that. So they've added extras. I think a couple extra minutes, or maybe they're not putting it in the IMAX one. It might be probably like the next episode footage kind of thing. Is in the IMAX. The IMAX one's actually shorter than the one on TV because I think they're adding like, hey, next time on the show, like here's the whole series kind of thing. Because they only filmed, I think, the first 2 fully in IMAX. So
yeah,
because they're bankrolling it. But I mean, a lot of people, again, have been talking, like you said, every time we see this, they've evolved it a little more, and I think that's kind of the weird thing with the show is like they were still filming it in March and April, like I think they probably wrote it in February, filmed it in March and April, and they've just been tweaking it ever since in like post-production.
Oh, Chris, it's fun to see you holding on to hope as much as you do.
It's been a wild ride is the point. It's like this one I'm like, whatever. This isn't going to be that great. They come back with this thing. So I don't know what's happening, if they're responding to feedback as fast as they can, or if that was ever the plan to begin with. It's hard to tell. So, but come September, I do know this now. We talked about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would be back next spring. S.H.I.E.L.D. will be back as soon as the show's over now.
Okay.
So we don't have to wait to kick off on another TV show for Marvel. We can just pick right up with S.H.I.E.L.D. And I believe season 5, which I believe will be the last season. But it looks to be in space. So definitely pick up where that goes off. I'm going. It's gonna happen, Mike.
You bought your ticket for this crazy train a long time ago. So.
I did. I bought, like, no matter what they were gonna do, I was gonna go. So we'll see how many people in the theater with me when I go. But that's okay, because I know the theater will be packed when Thor Ragnarok hits later this year.
Oh, no doubt. When you get Thor and Hulk in one movie together, ooh.
Yeah. So that's coming out. I've got they've released some promotional images here. We've got a couple of them in a gallery just to kind of go through. I'm not trying to spoil anything for Mike, so I made sure that these were not spoiler full.
Oh, good. Thank you.
But you get to see a lot of Jeff Goldblum in his gold robes. I think they just let him keep that gold robe, and he's just floating around with it.
I think he just brought it himself. I think we're assuming that Taika Waititi, the director, came up with this whole vision for the universe. I think Jeff Goldblum just showed up day one in that robe, and they're just like, all right, let's just make the whole movie around this robe.
Well, this was probably his house, too, and they were like, you got to come film me at my place to get me in this. So we're going to see a lot more of Bruce Banner. I forget the actor's name off the top of my head. Mark something?
Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalo, there we go. Couldn't think of it. In his human form, a little bit more in these going on here. You may also see Scourge, played by Carl Urban.
Yeah, Carl Urban.
He is taking the place of Heimdall as the Watcher.
Oh.
So we don't know no one knows what's happened in the meantime, but we see Heimdall out in the wilderness and Scourge watching over the Bifrost. So they've got a lot to catch us up on going forward.
Yeah, I think there's kind of 2 photos of note out of this gallery that I would take away here. Is the first one, which is kind of funny. You can see a crowd in the background holding up like some plush Hulks. So it looks like the Hulk is the people's champion. So it makes me think the Hulk has been on this planet at least for a while now, long enough to grow a crowd, to get some fans on this planet. And then the one right below it, where you get to see Thor and Loki in normal human clothes, looks like in New York possibly. So we do know that from the trailer that there is a scene on planet Earth, and somehow I think Doctor Strange is supposed to work its way in here. So I'm still curious how that is going to happen.
So I watched Doctor Strange last night, ironically, and he says in this scene that Thor, he's asking Thor why he brought Loki to Earth, because Loki is known in the mystical realms and like as like a villain. He's like, why did you bring Loki here? They're like, we're looking for Odin. Great. As soon as you find him, you guys will leave and never come back, kind of thing. So I think that's why they're both there. But if you notice, Thor has his long hair, so I think this is early on in the movie.
Oh yeah, possibly before Kate Blanchett blows up his hammer.
Yeah. So we have Thor with his long hair here, and as we know in the preview for Infinity War that we saw leaked, he has the short hair there. So I don't know how this movie's going to play out at all. which is awesome. So
the only thing we know is if you want to tell time in the MCU, you look at his hair.
His hairstyle, right? So yeah, there's definitely some images here to take a look at. A lot from the trailers, some are not, and it's just kind of fun to look at and get me hyped for this really stylistic, take on Thor and Hulk in this Sakaar world, in this battle realm. So you can check that out. Do you like the other Thor movies or any other Marvel movies, Mike? I don't know if you're a fan or not. I can't tell.
Oh, geez, I don't know. I don't know, Chris.
So we are all Marvel. Everyone likes Marvel movies. You can't find someone. It's hard to find someone who doesn't like any of them. And if they are, they're lying to themselves.
They're hipsters. They just want to be cool.
Yeah.
That they don't like the most popular movies on the planet right now.
Yes. So for some reason, I can't figure out why, Cinemark is bringing back 11 of these films to theaters next week, August 25th through the 31st, for $5 a piece, Mike. You go watch any of these movies, $5 a piece, if they're showing the day that you go.
Yeah, and I believe also they're kind of showing them, I guess maybe piecemeal, like you're saying, but I think they're also showing them in like packs. If I think I saw a graphic where like you could see watch the origin movies, or watch the galactic movies, or watch the best team up movies.
Yeah, so I think they're showing like maybe 3 or possibly 4 a day. So the first one's origin, so you get like Iron Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man kind of thing, or then there's the Captain's movies where you watch the Captain America movies that day. So you go watch each movie for $5, and it's at Cinemark theaters. And I don't know when a chance you'll get to see most of these older movies in theater again will happen. So if you have time next week, I know it's really weird timing, but get a chance. $5. You need to watch a movie throughout the week. Go pick one of these and hit it up. The list of them, since we know there's like 19 movies, you have Iron Man 1. Both Guardians of the Galaxies, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, the first Thor, both Avengers films, and all 3 Captain America films, which I think are very solid choices all around.
Yeah, I think it would be cool just to go back and watch the first Avengers again in theaters. That was a fun experience, and it'd be cool to do that again. Godspeed for anybody that are going to watch a lot of these back-to-back. Chris, when you came out to visit me in LA, we did do I think it was a marathon for Iron Man 3. So it was Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, the Avengers, and was there another one?
Nope, it was because the first one after Avengers was Iron Man 3. So.
Yeah, so even 4 movies in a row was enough for me. Like we spent the whole day in that theater.
And unlike the Defenders, which is 8 episodes in a row, like you can do that pretty easy. I can watch 4 of those pretty easily. Like watching 4 movies in a theater is a whole different experience. Like it's mildly exhausting and probably highly expensive if you eat there as well. So I just think that's really cool they're doing that. And, if I get a chance, I might try to see Iron Man in theaters, maybe the Avengers again.
Well, weren't you telling me that the way that these movies were aligning, that you were going to try to watch, one a week until something came out? I don't remember.
So I did the math this week. I was at my comic book store. When Avengers 4... or Avengers 3, Infinity War, is the 19th Marvel movie. But it is premiering on the 18th week of the year. So, I have to figure out how I'm going to start watching. I want to watch one a week leading up to this kind of thing,
So you're saying you're going to have to double up 1 week.
I'm going to double up 1 week or start one this year if I want to watch them all, consecutively. There will be weeks where that's sometimes not possible, but we did it. When did I do it for? I think it was for Age of Ultron, maybe. And I've done it for X-Men once, so it's been a while since I've done it. So we're due for this culmination for a big movie.
I guess the most obvious thing to do would be Captain Marvel. Is she the last movie until Avengers 4?
That's Avengers 4. That's a different timeline though. I'm working on Avengers 3.
Oh, okay. Man, I can't keep track of these movies.
Yeah.
It's almost like if there was a page out there where people could visit and they would have all the movies listed of when they're coming out. It'd be really helpful.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if it was on superheroslate.com to look this up.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if it was there and we didn't know about it.
So I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel are in between Avengers 3 and 4. But I'm just talking Avengers 3, which would be, I'd have to start this coming, I guess, New Year's Eve.
Well, it sounds like you're not going to have a chance when Avengers 4 comes out, because that's going to be like over 20 movies?
Yeah, well, I don't do it for every movie, though. So it's just, like, I feel Avengers 3 is the culmination of all these movies. So I think that's a good jumping off point. And then, we've got several things to hold us over through 2018.
Yes.
To the next one. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. If anyone has any suggestions, because I'm gonna have to watch Black Panther twice, like when it comes out, and then again later. So I'll figure it out when I get there. Oh well. Which does bring us to Avengers 4 news, Mike. Which has started filming. This is again the Untitled Avengers movie. We don't have a title for it. Jeremy Renner shared an image on his Instagram, and it looks like he has a mohawk on for this movie.
He looks like a bird, man.
I've been calling him Mo-Hawkeye because Hawkeye and Mohawk.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah, it's been about. But I guess if at the end of Civil War he was undercover or at least on the run from the government, he would definitely want to look different at least. People have been saying Ultimate Version. Ultimate Version doesn't have a mohawk that I remember, so they're stupid. And I've read all those books. So there's that going on. And lastly, some new promo images of a concept artist he's been working on. I don't think this is final because it looks like there's like several different art styles going on these characters, but it might be layouts or comps.
Especially if you look at Spider-Man in the background, he's just kind of floating in thin air. So this kind of just looks like some sort of layout going on.
And well, that's very much a Chris Pratt cutout kind of on a face, like concept art, and then like the Iron Man's very like the details not there in the suit. It's just kind of brushed over. So but you can see like the grease in the pants of Captain America here.
Yeah, I think it's more of like look at it as a whole. Like look at all of these characters that Marvel has cultivated, and this isn't even all of them on one screen. But like everybody looks at these characters and knows who they are. I mean, it's just really crazy because the only character in here that I think the general public even knew who they were, like back in the day, was Spider-Man. Very recognizable. But like Captain America, he was kind of like he was close to a B-lister. Iron Man,
they were all C-listers, and I would say Guardians were even D-listers.
Yeah, like now all of these characters, I would wager to say, might be just as recognizable as like Batman now. I mean, if you put an image of Iron Man up on the screen and an image of Batman, like I think you could almost go to like a third world country and they'd be able to go, that's Iron Man for sure. So.
It's definitely interesting because I mean, you put a ppicture of Robert Downey Jr. up and everyone's like, that's Tony Stark.
Yeah,
he's no longer Robert Downey Jr. He is the character he plays.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool. And then we get to see adolescent Groot over here playing what looks to be like some sort of Game Boy with his attitude.
It's a Groot boy.
It's a Groot boy. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's cool. He's got some other stuff. I don't know if it was taken down or not, but like I think we're gonna see some great promotional pieces come up for Infinity War. I think it's going to have a huge marketing budget, and we're all going to love it. It's going to be great the whole way through.
You're gonna love it because they're going to spend a lot of money on it. You're not going to have a choice.
No options. None at all. Afterwards, you just talking about this Captain Marvel movie is right before Avengers 4. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, Avengers 4. They have given final script duties over to Geneva Robertson-Dworet. I don't know anything she's done before, but I'm gonna pull it up here while we do it. I think she worked on the new Tomb Raider movie. I don't think she has anything that's been out just yet.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of gain information from writers out there in Hollywood, especially once a director kind of takes hand of the script. Who knows what's actually going to come out of there? And then also you have these actors who have been in this universe for a while, that can probably like ad-lib a little bit, kind of like say what they want to say, bring a little bit more to their character than what they're reading off of the page. And then, hell, who knows what happens once like studio execs get involved. So it's really hard to decide what you're going to get from a writer when they finish that script. Yeah, so and it's interesting because she's no stranger because she also has worked on the Gotham City Siren script over on Warner Brothers DC side, and she's made. Are you familiar with what's called the Blacklist? Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. She's made the Blacklist twice, and for one of her scripts called Ares, which just got picked up by MGM. Wow. She's a hot item in Hollywood, if you will, for writing.
Hot commodity.
Yes, but everyone's like, oh no, what's happening to the other script? Because I believe Nicole Perlman and Meg LaFauve, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name, were writing the previous draft. Well, she's not doing a page one rewrite. This is not The Flash. Each script is kind of worked on to certain degrees by certain people. Like, here's the outline, here's the a rough draft of it, and then someone takes it over and finishes it.
Yeah, these movies are very expensive. They want to make sure that it's a good to go once they start turning that camera on.
And the more eyes, the better. And Guardians of the Galaxy was written by Nicole Perlman before James Gunn took it over and added his final stuff to it.
Well, of course, asterisk, sometimes the more people, the better.
Yeah.
Always exceptions. But we'll just have to wait and see. I do like how this is a female-led movie. You know, Wonder Woman has proved it for definitively now that you can just have like a woman-centric production of a movie and make tons of profit. So I love that. So
not that we needed proof. We believed in them. They just just needed someone to break the glass ceiling.
Yeah, this is Hollywood. They only look at the dollars and cents, and someone kind of needs to be the first. So I hope Captain Marvel does more of the same, because that would be super badass.
Yeah, I think they're trying really hard with her, and they want to do it justice, which, you know, the more you take and the more time you put into it, I think you're going to get a better product. So, really excited to see some Skrull invasions as well, man. That's a big time to launch a Skrull invasion. Like,
hell yeah!
If you didn't think Captain Marvel was going to be good, now you get your Skrull invasion, which is going to be great.
I mean, I know we talked about this already when we knew about the Skrull, but this movie is going to be taking place in the past. So it's like they're like setting up a secret invasion, just in the past already. So they could already be in our movies right now, and it's crazy.
Yeah, like they're definitely they're setting up a whole new phase of Marvel by giving us these shapeshifters in a Captain Marvel movie set in the 90s, who's going to be in Avengers 4. And we might see how Nick Fury loses his eye. Like, I'm very excited about this movie, Mike. Like,
yes. Like,
it's not just, some Air Force pilot got powers and now she's saving the world. Like, no, this is a game changer for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So
it's going to be fun.
We're all on board on this one. Marvel also has some other TV shows in development other than Inhumans and Spider-Man. The Runaways, which I think is going to Hulu. I believe they have the rights to that. Has cast actor Julian McMahon, who you may remember in the first 2 Fantastic Four movies as Doctor Doom, as a character called Jonah.
All right.
Jonah is a pivotal player in the main character's rebellion against their parents, who there's no comic book. We can't find who he was in the comic books. So,
all right.
I don't know if that's just a secret name or if he's going to be taking over someone else, but we couldn't find anything. We tried. We tried really hard.
Looking forward to the Runaways. I don't know when that's dropping, but I know it's soon, because we have a trailer.
I think it's November, maybe.
Oh.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a quick Google. Do me a Google. I want to say it was the end of this year, but I'm not seeing anything. It says 2017 on IMDb.
All right. Well,
November 21st, 10 episodes.
All right.
There we go.
There you go. It'll be your Thanksgiving treat.
There you go. November's if we get Punisher, Runaways, and Thor in November. Tap it off with a little bit of Justice League. We got a hell of a November, Mike.
No, I think you tap it off with a little bit of turkey. So,
well, then we end with turkey and a nap until Star Wars.
There you go.
Which is actually our next topic, ironically. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Not quite a battle cry. Not quite, because this is not regular news.
This is weird news.
This is weird news.
Kind of.
So, I'm out doing my work for the week, and normally I'm pretty in the know on stuff. And occasionally Mike gets one on me because he's on Twitter a lot more than I am in LA, and where the hot spot hits. So he's like, just tell me what you told me, Mike. What's coming out of Star Wars later this year?
Man, Obi-Wan has officially started his own spin-off Star Wars movie. I have no idea what it's going to be called. I don't know if they have confirmed Ewan McGregor or not, but Obi-Wan is getting his own movie.
So this is not out of Lucasfilm or Disney. Just to clear this up.
But it's out of a reputable site. I believe the Hollywood Reporter broke it, and they don't just break rumors and stuff like that. They're a legit journalistic institution. So this isn't just some sort of random blog. So
yeah, so it's definitely out there. And then they've already tapped in a director/writer in Stephen Daldry. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know what he's done. Like, to me, like, he's done Broadway stuff when I looked him up, but off the top of my head, I don't know. I just see Broadway stuff here.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird because Disney does have that like magic juice when it comes to directors. It feels like they can kind of pluck people out of obscurity and kind of give them a large budget, and most of the time they can make a pretty good movie. So We'll have to see if they can hit that again. But I think, this was kind of almost rumored from the very beginning when they announced these Star Wars movies. We just kind of assumed we were getting this Obi-Wan movie. So when this kind of quote-unquote rumor/news pops up, I think it has pretty high credence that it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... I mean, to me, we've always speculated when they said we're doing Star Wars, we're getting 3 solo movies and 3 trilogy movies, like 3 in the main story. Well, the first one we got was Rogue One. The next one we are getting is Han Solo, and they kind of floated the idea of a Boba Fett one with Josh Trank, but he was promptly fired after Fantastic Four. And we've always been big pushers of the Obi-Wan Solo story.
Yeah, I think it's because the only thing you can kind of pull out of the prequels that's very exciting is Ewan McGregor's performance. He somehow found a way to kind of break loose of George Lucas's directing, and he just kind of made it his own. He has like charisma, he has character, he does cool things in the movies. So yeah, it's going to be exciting seeing him again, hopefully. And obviously it's a Star Wars story movie, so it's not like you're going to show him like when he's like 70, like just before he died. I don't think we're going to be seeing Obi-Wan just before A New Hope, just before like Luke walks into his dirty cave. It's going to be probably like maybe when Luke is growing up and he's like an adolescent child.
Well, so I don't even think that, simply because of the Marvel gained the comic book rights several years ago to Star Wars. And they've had a consistent monthly Star Wars issue, and some of them are actually old stories of what Obi-Wan was doing in between between 3 and 4. And sometimes he has bounty hunters coming after him. Sometimes he has to go, take care of some other stuff. I believe even in the Rebels TV show, he fought Darth Maul again. So there's a bunch of stories in there for Obi-Wan and his adventures he did. Like, he's not just sitting there watching this kid from a distance. Obviously, people came to think he was a crazy old man.
Whoa, Chris, you brought up Darth Maul there for a second. That would be really crazy, because if you kind of just take the best thing out of the prequel, Darth Maul was really cool. He kind of had the best scoring moment when it comes to music during his fight, and that would be kind of cool to maybe see them fight again. I don't know if maybe it'd be a little too much to kind of weave Darth Maul back into the movies again.
Well,
but
I think it would be awfully redundant, because that was a very big setup on the Rebels show with this still going on. And it was one of the, I think the show did it justice. I wouldn't go back to Darth Maul. But he definitely, in the comic books, did not sit still on Tatooine, and he had definitely some adventures along the way.
He wasn't doing nothing.
And nobody thought he was crazy when he came to Tatooine the first time. So over those, 20-something years, he came to be known as Crazy Ben Kenobi. Why did they think he's crazy all of a sudden? I'm open to that interpretation. Now, with this Obi-Wan news coming out of this, 3 other characters have been rumored to have solo films in production.
Oh no, this is where things go off the rails for me.
So first and foremost, Boba Fett. Great, they've actually said they were working on this before, so that's not a surprise, right?
But I'm not exactly wanting a Boba Fett movie. We got more Boba Fett in the prequels, and it didn't work out.
So, well, right, but I mean, this is not news out of Disney. We know they were working on it. A Yoda solo film. Okay, and also, lastly, Jabba the Hutt solo film. So here's what I'm going to tell you about all 4 of these characters. Okay. Fuck them all. We don't need a single one of these. You know why? Do you know why? Because I talked this out with Brian of Comic UI, because there's one Star Wars is more than this 40-year period of stories that we've seen in every movie so far. We have the Old Republic to go back to. We have, possibly the future if we wanted to go forward. Probably not the future, but we can go back and look at the creation of the Sith, creation of the Jedi, dealing with what the universe has been throughout the Mandalorian wars that have never been seen on screen. There is so much mythology and rich history in this universe, more than this 40 years we're covering in the current movies we're doing. Why do we need to pick characters who are just important to these years right here? So that's my kind of theory. Like, pick somewhere else to go if you're going to tell Star Wars stories.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I definitely think we've seen enough of Boba Fett. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Boba Fett was originally just like an action figure and a one-off character.
He was in the Star Wars Christmas Story, actually.
Yeah, and he was cool. He is a cool guy, and he's pretty badass, but like... we saw what happens when you try to draw out Boba Fett's mythology. It just gets really weird. It's cluttered with clones and a dad that also kind of was Boba Fett, a version of it, and then he gets his head chopped off, and so there's decapitation in the past. It's just kind of messy. Yoda, we've seen plenty of Yoda. Yoda's been probably in more of these Star Wars movies than anybody else. So we've seen plenty of Yoda. Jabba the Hutt, I don't even understand what that is. I don't care what Jabba the Hutt's doing. I don't know if they're trying to make like Godfather in space with that, but I don't think a whole like Jabba the Hutt speak would last very long.
So a lot of these characters are great when you don't know the history of them.
Yeah, a little mystery.
Like Darth Vader was great until we got the prequels. Like, he's just a whiny little bitch, right? Jabba was great until we saw him in the prequels when he was just sleeping at this pod racing track. I mean, all these characters, like Boba Fett was cool until we learned he was just a clone of another guy who, without any alterations, who all these clone troopers were. Like, once you explain what it is and how they're all related to themselves 40 years later, you lose the luster. Like you don't have to be spoon-fed everything. So, to me, I don't even want an Obi-Wan movie. Like, give me older stuff. Give me the history of this. Give me the first Sith, the Rule of Two, from the games we played. I don't care. Show me something more than what's going on here.
Yeah, and I don't think it helps that we were kind of a little burned by Rogue One. I mean, Rogue One was an all right movie, but like we've said on the show, we haven't really gone back and rewatched it. We don't really have a desire to kind of jump back into it. So the one rumor I think that I'll pull out of this, the one rumor is, why they have waited so long to announce an Obi-Wan movie. Why did a journalist outfit like the Hollywood Reporter have to break it? Why have they kept it secret? It makes me think maybe Obi-Wan ties into Rey's lineage somehow. Could be a possibility, and maybe that's a reason why we might want to go back and look at Obi-Wan. I hope that's not true, just because I've said on the show before, I just want Rey to be like a normal person with no family connections, but it could be Obi-Wan, and maybe that's the reason why we return to the well. And maybe Obi-Wan was going to be announced after Star Wars in December, because we said that we will get some sort of answers about Rey's lineage in the next movie, so maybe that's why Disney hasn't really officially said anything about Obi-Wan yet.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know, man. I just I'm not looking forward to Han Solo. You nail it on the head with Rogue One. Like, Han Solo's cool because we don't know his past. Now they're gonna butcher that one right up. Like, don't choke on your aspirations, Disney. don't do it. So, I don't know. I'm excited for Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. We love Star Wars here, but we want good Star Wars. Like, we want. I love playing. I don't know about you. How many Star Wars video games did you like? I mean, I love playing the games, but the games never focus on many of the main characters, like the good ones. So
because video games are always mainly about having fun. So the story's just kind of there to get you on to the next level. Sometimes with video games,
but at the same time, like if you go back and look at the old Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic games, I think those had a lot of story behind them, and dealing with that. And I'm gonna harp on that more than I want to, but like. Go back to then. Tell us some of then.
Well, maybe this is the elusive kind of, I guess you would call it the third phase of Star Wars. Like that they said that there's going to be a gap. Like, once they kind of finish this set of 6 movies, we'll have to wait a little bit before we get more Star Wars movies. So maybe when they kind of refresh and bring Star Wars back, maybe it will be in the past. Maybe they'll go back to the Old Republic and show us the origins of this universe. And then maybe in the 4th phase or 6th phase, I don't know, maybe we'll jump back and see Rey when she's older, if she lives. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff coming out of it. We don't know, but if they haven't announced it because she's Rey's lineage or somehow, you might be onto something there. So I guess we'll find out in a couple months, won't we?
Yeah.
We'll do that. Let's head into Fox realm with Deadpool. Everybody likes Deadpool, except for this week. We have some bad news on Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so a stunt driver was killed on a set accident in Deadpool 2. She was filling in for Zazie Beetz, who's playing Domino, and it was a motorcyclist. She missed the spot where her motorcycle was supposed to stop, and it threw her into a glass wall, or through some glass doors. She was only going 10 miles per hour, so if anyone ever says, well, it's only 10 miles per hour, that's deadly. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's just really unfortunate. You don't want that to happen on any set ever. Yeah. So I hope their family finds a way to deal with this. But it's a tragedy. It sucks. Yeah. There's not much to say beyond that. Besides, it just really sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. But we have one more bit of news. Some set images from Deadpool 2, which I think is back on production at least. Shows this guy who everyone thought was the main act, the villain actor, but it's not. It's some unknown guy in like CG attire. Like if you look, that's like gray CG hand stuff and things under him. Rumored is he's playing Kane Marco, I believe. Kane Marco, the Juggernaut. Is that?
Oh.
I'm going to have to look this up, so I'm not sure. Yes, Kane Marco, the Juggernaut. So
that would be really cool, especially pairing that with Deadpool's powers. You could totally see Deadpool getting into the Juggernaut's head, and the Juggernaut just kind of like bulldozing over him, and then just like
they got Juggernaut versus Colossus is what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, ooh yeah, that'd be sick.
So one of the main actors, I think, is something Kessie. He's supposed to be playing this character Black Tom Cassidy, which we've talked about, who has huge ties to Juggernaut. So. If Juggernaut does make it up into this film, which I totally think he could, with being on Black Tom Cassidy's side, so it's Deadpool, Domino versus Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Colossus. That'd be some pretty cool stuff up in the ante there. And Deadpool 2's definitely got a budget for it, I think. Oh, and Cable. Don't forget Cable.
Yeah, don't forget that guy.
Don't forget Cable. Also, tied into Deadpool a little better. Tom Cruise was injured on the set of Mission Impossible 6. So if you're making any movies, be safe out there, people.
Yeah, we can bring a little bit more humor into this one, just because I watched the video and I was expecting it to be a little bit more, I guess, exciting or action-packed. He's just jumping from one building to the other, and he just didn't make it, and his knee kind of hit the side of it. His insurance on any movie set he's on must be like through the roof, because he always wants to do his own stunts, and he's getting up there in age, so he's not quite as spry anymore. So so he might be very athletic, but his recovery time might not be as quick as when he was in his 20s or in his 30s. So good luck out there, Tom Cruise. You're freaking crazy, man.
Yeah, at some point you gotta stop doing your own stunts, dude. But at least we'll know he'll be going up against a freshly unshaved mustache from Henry Cavill. So Tom Cruise may be injured, but the mustache remains, and that's really all that matters about Mission Impossible 6 at this point. Lastly, some news about Justice League Dark. 2 directors are finally in the running after it's lost like 3 other directors along the way. One of them is Daniel Espinosa, who's known for his movie Life, I believe, that just came out recently with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. And I think he had another one he did in there, but I know Life was a recent one. And then the other one is Gerard Johnstone, a little more unknown director. He did a film called Housebound, which was like a horror film that a lot of people didn't watch, but has been gaining a lot of really good reviews and traction underground. So.
Yeah, well, that horror to big budget connection usually works out pretty well for these big budget movies. And I guess with Justice League Dark, I wonder if they would maybe lean into more of like a dark horror vibe, possibly. Hopefully, it's just not another version of Suicide Squad with just a kind of pseudo bad/good guys doing something. But I'm still putting Justice League Dark in the same category as Gambit of I'll believe it when I see it.
You believe it when it's one of those things. It might happen, it might not happen, I don't know. So I don't know. So to me, I don't care. This is a movie that's kind of lost its luster over time, so I don't know what's happening. So I don't know.
Well, there you go.
That's
we'll
it.
have to wait and see.
We're gonna end the show on a very meh note. So
yeah, maybe we'll reorganize the news next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just popped up today. Like that's probably the freshest news on here. So
well, there you go. We should have set it up better. So for our last bit of news, we have the latest breaking, freshest baked smelling news ever.
Yes, so fresh, so clean.
2 directors for a movie that may or may not get made.
That may or may not ever happen. So, so that's it for the news, Mike. If people want to find more about what you're doing and what you're up to, where can they find you at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to see that sweet gear that you're picking up, like getting double pop vinyls. Where can they find that?
Double pops. You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan. I'll definitely. I took a picture of it, so I'm gonna put it up on there.
Put up some stuff of your crazy futuristic lights too.
I will. I'll definitely do. I'm going to do some of that. I've got some pops and that. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you. I'll share some stuff up there. Thank you for reminding me. You can also read stuff on comicui.com. You can find, listen to my other show, Filmside Chats, on iTunes, and then you can also watch the videos I do for the DNN on YouTube. So all over the place. If people are coming to us for the first time because they heard our Spoilercast earlier, Mike, where else can they find us at? And they want to know some more about us.
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host the show, and you can get our sweet show notes. So if you want to see these trailers and images and photo sets that we talked about, you can get links to that in our show notes at superheroslate.com. And you can subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can get us right in your email inbox every week, and you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can pick up some sweet Superhero Slate merch at superheroslate.com/store. Really appreciate that. And if you're a fan of the show, please leave us a review, a comment, a like, a forward, a share, a retweet, whatever you can do out there. We really appreciate that. And if you're a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a buddy, share the show with a friend, and we will be here every week, sometimes even twice a week. Make sure you're subscribed and get our spoiler cast for the Defenders in your feed and get all the spoilerific reviews that you can get, that your little ears make them go a Twitter when you hear about the Defenders.
Yeah, whatever he just said.
Yeah, I don't know what I just said there, man. We've been recording for a while here.
we've been on the phone for a little bit here. So yeah, I actually wore my red Superhero Slate shirt while I watched the Defenders because I was getting ready for a Spoilercast.
I was wearing my Luke Cage shirt. So
there we go. There you go. That's it. So all right, well, 2 episodes down. We're calling it quits for the day, and I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Well, one of my favorite things is like when you guys see the rollback and it's rollback from the same price. So I think they're just putting those stickers out there now, just like we roll back from the same price.